CNN has learned tonight of a new American weapon which could counter Kim Jong-un's menacing and accelerating missile program. A U.S. Air Force official tells us it's called CHAMP, a high-powered microwave system that can be delivered on an air-launched cruise missile deployed from an American bomber. CNN has learned tonight of a new American weapon which could counter Kim Jong-un's menacing and accelerating missile program. A U.S. Air Force official tells us it's called CHAMP, a high-powered microwave system that can be delivered on an air-launched cruise missile deployed from an American bomber. Experts say it can jam missiles before they launch or while they're in flight. And in the standoff with North Korea, it's a game changer.
It would be very useful in the Korean theater because it wouldn't require the presence of significant numbers of ground forces, it wouldn't require special operations forces, and it wouldn't require kinetic bombing attacks. So in essence, what can happen is an attack can occur and not a single person on the enemy's side would lose a life.
This declassified animation from the U.S. military shows how the CHAMP system would work. A bomber deploys a cruise missile. It would fly into enemy airspace at low altitude and send out strong pulses of electromagnetic energy. Officials say the enemy's electronic command and control systems would be jammed. Then, analysts say, the missile it's deployed on could be splashed down at sea. In one test of the CHAMP system, this was the result: a bank of computers being disabled simultaneously.
This is kind of like putting a piece of metal into either a microwave or some other high-frequency area where you're blasting it with a lot of radiation and you watch what happens to it. It's like, in essence, magnesium being set on fire.
Officials caution CHAMP is still in the research phase and not yet operational. While it could be effective in preempting North Korean missile launches, skeptics say it has potentially dangerous drawbacks.
The North Koreans would see many of these missiles flying in, they would try to shoot them down. They're not actually going to know that they're armed with high-powered microwaves instead of, say, conventional explosives or even nuclear weapons.
It's not a matter of if, but when we go to war. North Korea's brand new chilling warning as the U.S. Air Force makes a show of force over the Korean Peninsula. Kitty Logan is live for us in London with a look at your international headlines this morning. Good morning, Kitty.
Good morning. Well, yes, North Korea is raising its objections to those ongoing US and South Korean military exercises. The government in Pyongyang has upped its rhetoric, saying that war on the Korean peninsula may be inevitable. Now, these comments come after a US supersonic bomber flew over South Korea yesterday in a show of force as part of that large week-long military exercise. More than 200 aircraft taking part, including American fighter jets. Now, South Korea's military says this is to demonstrate a capability to respond to any threat from the north.
Colossal Seoul-Washington combined Air Force drills wrapped up on Friday. During the 5-day span, the Allies went through various wartime scenarios, including targeting North Korea's key nuclear and missile facilities. Kim Hyun-bin helps paint a clearer picture of the scale and effectiveness of the Vigilant Ace exercise.
Seoul and Washington have been conducting a massive air combat drill known as Vigilant Ace. The 5-day exercise is the largest ever combined Air Force drill between the two allies, involving 230 warplanes and around 12,000 personnel. 24 U.S. stealth fighter jets took part in the drills, 6 of them F-22s, 6 of them F-35As, as well as a dozen F-35Bs, marking the first time the highly advanced jets have cruised the skies of Korea at the same time. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is said to be the most afraid of stealth fighters, as they can easily get past the regime's air defenses undetected. Other U.S. assets include 2 B-1B bombers and 6 Growler electronic warfare jets, as well as dozens of F-15s and F-16s. South Korea has deployed 90 fighter jets, including its F-15 and F-A-50 fighters. The U.S. also flew 2 B-1B supersonic bombers over Korea for 2 consecutive days on Wednesday and Thursday, carrying out bombing drills over the Yellow Sea near North Korea and China. It is unusual for the U.S. to send the bombers, stationed in Guam, for 2 days in a row. Their exercise was simulated to target key North Korean facilities, including nuclear and missile sites.
More North Korean provocations could be in the pipelines as it tries to gain bargaining power with the United States. That's the assessment coming from the Defense Ministry during a year-end meeting with senior commanders nationwide. Defense Chief Song Young-moo pointed out Pyongyang regards its weapons programs as a means of survival. He also highlighted the possibility of tactical provocations by the regime, such as trespassing the northern limit line, the de facto maritime border between the two Koreas, meaning artillery attacks or cyber terrorism to disrupt international events cannot be counted out. The minister promised Seoul's military will be fully prepared for any circumstances.
Opening up with the rapid right! Got up!
From the sea and the sky, America's first responders, like the LA County Sheriff's Department, are on alert for improvised nuclear devices.
Copy that. We're just heading out the gate now.
In the port of Los Angeles.
So this is an extremely busy shipping lane. We're going to be doing radiation screening on the vessels.
The country now returning to a Cold War era footing. Millions of us wondering what would happen if the unthinkable did happen.
There is a lot of misconceptions about nuclear detonation, that California is going to fall into the ocean, that, there's no surviving it.
Brooke Buttermeyer and his team at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory modeled what a 10-kiloton nuclear detonation would look like, a bomb about the size that fell on Hiroshima. Using Los Angeles as an example, the immediate blast zone would be nearly flattened, an area about 10 blocks across. A moderate, then light damage zone would spread out for several miles. It would be deadly, but millions would survive the initial explosion, making radioactive fallout a major concern.
There's a lot of shelter opportunities in a city that our analysis shows can keep people safe.
A concrete structure is the best shelter. The middle floors of a building are safest. Fallout on the roof and the ground outside make the top and ground floors the least safe. If there's a basement, it's your best protection.
Even a wood frame home could offer enough protection from radiation sickness. Experts advise you get inside, as close as you can, to the center of the home.
People practice what they're supposed to do during an earthquake. And I would like to see the same kind of thing, the same kind of attention paid to nuclear preparedness.
Which is why coastal Ventura County is considered the nation's public health leader in preparing for a nuclear emergency. The county created public service announcements and an 18-page guide for its residents with one idea: get inside, stay tuned. A message scientists believe could save countless lives in the face of a doomsday event.